Good morning, Fitz and Lana.
Morning, Charles. Morning, everybody. Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day. Absolutely. And thank you for saying that because it reminds me, put that in there.
Cool.
Happy Veterans Day. I was off by a day, though, as far as the Marines' birthday.
Yesterday.
And the Marines were 246 years since they first came into being. So to all you Marines out there, happy belated birthday. So we are grateful for all of our Marines, and we are grateful for all of our veterans from the beginning of the U.S. till now. We are grateful.
I had the opportunity to watch my nephew, Sean Bowie, be honored at his grandson's school. They had a program and they honored, I think there were 10 veterans there. He spent 22 years between the Marines and the Army. He's retired.
Wow.
But they had a Zoom and a live, so I got to watch that. It was wonderful.
Neat.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I've got so many friends and relatives that have been part of the military in one form or another, and I am grateful to each one of them. And those that have come back with problems, we are especially grateful to you and want all of the best for you. I would think that every American, red-blooded American that believes in our military wants the best service and the best medical care for all of our veterans. I don't care who you are. We want to take care of you, and it should just be noted there. So God bless you all. Happy Veterans Day.
Yep. My dad was a vet of World War II in the Army Air Corps. He was a navigator, so I'm thinking about him today.
Well,
my brother was Air Force, and we have some that are Army still. Sean's son, Adam. So my brother's son, Sean, retired 22 years. Dick was in the Air Force for 18 years. And then now Adam is up in Alaska in the Army. So we've got those three and some others, but yeah.
Well, that is awesome. I know that we have some vets that tune in with us. Scott Ricard, Eric Flournoy, Tom Ginn, and just grateful for each one of you and your services to the different branches. So thank you guys. And then let's see, we got some birthday shout outs. June Davidson is a business and lifestyle coach. June, happy birthday to you. And then I have known Tara from real estate, and this is Tara, and I'm going to massacre her name, Bihatji. That's as good as I can do, but Tara, happy birthday to you. She is one of our real estate partners over at Keller Williams, Silicon Valley, and Campbell. So Tara, happy birthday to you. You guys got any birthdays today?
Just one. She is a mom and a homemaker and the mother of a 36-year-old special needs adult. And her other son is a veteran, and he's home now, married with his own family. So Jane Ellen, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jane Ellen. All right, let's get to our friends here. Curtis Brown. Curtis is an Army veteran. So grateful for you and your service. Curtis, you are a good man. God bless you. Rex Smith, his son, young Rex, was also in the military, or Mike was in the military. So Mike and Rex, thank you. And then Danny Magagliano, Red Burkheimer was in the military also. He was in the Army, stationed all over the place. So, Red, happy Veterans Day to you, and God bless you. Shelley Elliott is married to a lieutenant colonel in the Marines, if I'm not mistaken. So, Shelley, thank your husband for us, and God bless him. And God bless you too, because you two had your family all over the world as he served. So God bless. And that's Jonathan Elliott. Nancy Kurt Brand, Ashley Van Winkle, Jeff Rainey, our friend Keith Landris, and our other brother, Eric B. Flournoy, who was in the Navy. So in the Navy, Eric, happy Veterans Day to you. And then Joe and Joseph. And we are so grateful that Joseph is well on his way to recovery and is now at home. So we're grateful to you. And I know that
Very good.
the condition that Joseph has is one that will last, if I'm not mistaken, Lana, correct?
Well, God can intervene at any time. So we're going to say that it's very, very rare that I think he's one and only in what he has.
Okay. And then
which is very rare.
We're praying for Larry Lichty from Kearney, Nebraska, and his ministry. Kim Brandenbaugh, Holland Grubbaugh, and her husband Tom. Ted Lagel, Janice Lichtenwalter. We're praying for her soul, and also for her husband Wayne and their sons Matt, Mark, and Michael. Jerry Porter and his family, and the First Lady of Florida, Casey DeSantis.
Amen. We got anyone else that we need to add to this list today?
Still praying for David Anuda. I have not heard how the third surgery came out on Monday. And we pray for the repose of the soul of Patty Coyle, who will be laid to rest at 5:00 this afternoon, and her husband Tim, and her children Seamus and Shannon.
Amen. Lana, do we have anyone else?
Not that I can think of this morning.
Okay. All right. So we want to
There's probably many. There is a situation, if you'd like to pray for a situation. Mandates for the vaccine have been placed on hold by a federal judge. However, the president has sent orders to several large corporations that if they are not vaccinated, they must be fired, which he's actually breaking the law by doing that. So pray for those corporations. I have a lot of holding them emails, remind good for our nation. So it's rather a crisis, and we need healing in our country.
Absolutely.
We need
now,
healing.
Lana, you are freezing a bit or a bit jittery, but I am going to guess that you were talking about the mandate for the vaccination, and we have got the orders coming from one of the federal judges that's put a hold on it. But our president has said, keep it going. And the Justice Department has said, keep it going. Nullifying one of the other forms of our government. And praying for each one of these people. We have a lot to deal with on that matter. Absolutely. All right. Let's take a quick
So
look
am I
here.
still breaking up on you? Do I?
You came in right then, nice and crisp. But it seems like you possibly are frozen now. All right. I'm going to take a look and see what we've got here for folks coming in.
You're the one that's freezing on my end. I don't know what it is.
I'm freezing. I'm good on my end, but Fitz, am I freezing where you are?
No, but Lana's a little lethargic. And
to me, you're freezing.
Well, I never said I was hot, but freezing is.
All right, let's see who we got here. We've got Scott Ricard. Scott, happy Veterans Day, my friend. Good morning, everyone. Blessings and have a great day, Scott Ricard. You also. And maybe we're all freezing because we've only got one person that's showing up there. We are live.
To me. So,
Now, good evening to you, Charles, Lana, Fitz. Thankful Thursday. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's get in here. Take a look at our book of Proverbs. And Fitz is going to kick us off.
Proverbs 11. The Lord detests dishonest scales, but accurate weights find favor with him. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. Wealth is worthless in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. The righteousness of the blameless makes their path straight, but the wicked are brought down by their own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright delivers them, but the unfaithful are trapped by evil desires. Hopes placed in mortals die with them. All the promise of their power comes of nothing. The righteous person is rescued from trouble, and it falls on the wicked instead. With their mouths, the godless destroy their neighbors, but through knowledge, the righteous escape. When the righteous prosper, the city rejoices. When the wicked perish, there are shouts of joy. Through the blessing of the upright, a city is exalted, but by the mouth of the wicked, it is destroyed.
Oh, Lana pulled herself off. So, Fitz, I'm going to have you go ahead and come in when I get to, I'll have you finish up the last from 22 on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. He who despises his neighbor lacks sense, but a man of understanding keeps silent. He who goes about as a talebearer reveals secrets, but he who is trustworthy conceals a matter. Where there is no guidance, the people fall, but in abundance of counselors there is victory. He who is a guarantor for a stranger will surely suffer for it, but he who hates being a guarantor is a secure. But he who hates being a guarantor is secure. A gracious woman attains honor, and the ruthless men attain riches. The merciful man does himself good, but the cruel man does himself harm. The wicked earns deceptive wages, but he who sows righteousness gets a true reward. He who is steadfast in righteousness will attain to life. He who pursues evil will bring about his own death. The perverse in heart are an abomination to the Lord, but the blameless in their walk are his delight. Assuredly, the evil man will not go unpunished, but the descendants of the righteous will be delivered.
Like a ring in a pig's snout is a beautiful woman who shows no discretion. The desire of the righteous ends only in good, but the hope of the wicked only in wrath. One person gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. People curse the one who hoards grain, but they pray God's blessing on the one who is willing to sell. Whoever seeks goods finds favor, but evil comes to one who searches for it. Those who trust in the riches will fall, but the righteous will thrive like a green leaf. Whoever brings ruin on their family will inherit only wind, and the fool will be the servant to the wise. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and the one who is wise saves lives. If the righteous receive their due on earth, how much more the ungodly and the sinner?
Mm.
That's chapter 11.
Chapter 11 of Proverbs.
You know, it's a false balance is an abomination to our Lord. Upright people are saved by their integrity, but the crooks and the devious people ruin themselves. This chapter continues all repeating a very similar theme, that good qualities of the righteous people save them. The bad qualities of the wicked lead to their own destruction.
Mm. Lana, you are coming in much clearer right now, even though you're not saying anything. Your picture is much clearer than it was.
Well, I just changed computers.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
You were sounding wonderful.
How are we looking?
Well, you're looking really handsome, you guys. You're
Okay. Well, I didn't want to be Elsa, you know, like Frozen or anything. So.
Well, you guys were freezing up, and it might have, I don't know if it was my computer or if it was the connection.
Well, we got you loud and clear now.
You are wonderful now. So, and I was taking a look at this one, and from the life's lessons, the first verse is there. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. And from the life lessons, it says, dishonesty is an abomination to the Lord because it violates the holy character that his children should demonstrate. God is as concerned that his people conduct fair and honest business practice as he is that their sexual lives honor him. He delights in a just way because it reflects his righteousness. And that is thinking about our justice system and always being concerned that everyone is getting those the fair balance. Are they, or is it weighted in a manner? But we know that God is going to handle everything, and that is so important for us to remember. We are a nation of laws, but we also have God's laws that we need to deal with ourselves on everything that we do, whether it's our business practices, whether it's dealing with a neighbor. We always want to be fair. You can never be wrong by being fair with somebody.
And if you always tell the truth, you never have to remember your story.
That's right. And the shorter my memory is getting,
the more you forget the truth. Is that what you were going to say?
No, the more I better just have one story and I'm sticking to it. And it's going to be honesty.
Verse 29, he who brings trouble on his family will inherit only wind, and the fool will be servant to the wise. That's a very strong verse. You know, throughout the Bible, God speaks of those that, you know, have caused trouble. Some of them were just eliminated. And he also says that if your son gives you trouble, and I imagine the daughter the same, you were to take them outside the city wall and kill them. We had that in a counseling class years ago. And I thought, boy, I never knew that. And most people have never found that in Deuteronomy, but it was one of God's laws. They were to destroy those that would not take counsel.
So we're thankful to God for his son, Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
that we can just ask for forgiveness.
Yeah. Take them to the woodshed. It takes on a whole new meaning.
Yes, it does. Spare the rod, spoil the child. And that's in Proverbs. But if that child doesn't, back then, if the child didn't take instruction, but I think the reason for that, and even when the armies went out in God's behalf, he would tell them, don't bring back any spoil at all. In other words, the enemy, which included the women and the children, everything, their livestock, everything was to be destroyed. He wanted no remnant of anything left. And anyone that disobeyed him in that, eventually that remnant caused them a lot of trouble.
Absolutely. And we're going to read about that in Isaiah in just a minute. Frank Nell, Sheridan Dunn, thank you. Frank Nell, blessings to all and be safe. Gloria Brown, good morning, Coach and Fitz. Blessings to all. But wait. Hi, Lana.
I disappeared. I had a disappearing act.
Yeah, disappearing act. She pulled her Houdini act on us.
Now you see me, now you don't.
Yeah. I know how Eric used to feel when his connection would go down now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it happens to us all. Hey, Gloria, good morning to you. So glad to hear from you. Frank Nell, good evening. And Scott Ricard, our Florida connection has been made. And Scott, again, thank you for your service. Lana, why don't you pick up? We're going to, I can't even remember what we're going to do. We're going to call
Isaiah 39.
Isaiah 39. And it was a football term, and I can't remember what it was.
Audible.
There you go. Calling it audible. Lana, you are now in hellback.
Envoys from Babylon. At the time Merodach, Baladan, son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent Hezekiah letters and a gift because he had heard of his illness and recovery. Hezekiah received the envoys gladly and showed them what was in his storehouses: the silver, the gold, the spices, the fine oil, his entire armory, and everything found among his treasures. There was nothing in his palace or in all his kingdom that Hezekiah did not show them. Then Isaiah the prophet went to King Hezekiah and asked, "What did those men say, and where did they come from?" "From a distant land," Hezekiah replied. "They came to me from Babylon, and they saw everything in my palace." Hezekiah said, "There is nothing among my treasures that I did not show them." Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, "Hear the word of the Lord Almighty. The time will surely come when everything in your palace and all that your fathers have stored up until this day will be carried off to Babylon. Nothing will be left, says the Lord, and some of your descendants, your own flesh and blood, who will be born to you, will be taken away, and they will become eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. The word of the Lord you have spoken is good," Hezekiah replied, "for he thought there will be peace and security in my lifetime." Boy, he was kind of self-righteous, wasn't he?
Just a little.
And he just wasn't smart enough to understand that this meant ruin for Jerusalem in the future.
Yeah, his recovery was miraculous, and the Lord was good enough to give him 15 more years of life, but it was up to Hezekiah if those years are going to be lived in wisdom and to the glory of God or not. And this gift he got was apparently a gesture of kindness from the king of Babylon. Not sure why he was showing so much concern for Hezekiah, but...
Well, now I did some reading in the commentaries. They were saying that other nations knew that they had jewels and gold and all sorts of other fine things within the palace. And they knew that they were there. And apparently, when Hezekiah showed this to the Babylonians, they at some point were going to come and capture everything there. And what the reason for God's punishment was that he was not only showing pride in what he had, he was also showing less than full belief in God and taking care of him, even though he had granted him his life and had wiped out his enemy. He still wanted to make sure that the Babylonians who were going to be fighting with Assyria, he wanted them to know that, hey, we've got stuff that we can help out with, not fully trusting in God, that God had already taken care of them. So he was kind of hedging his bets, to say.
Go ahead, Lana.
Well, 39:8. That sounded kind of weird to me, because he says the word of the Lord you have spoken is good. I'm thinking, well, that's really nice of you. You didn't think anything about your relatives to come, those grandkids, whoever. But it says here that here Hezekiah was grateful that God would preserve peace during his reign. As soon as Hezekiah died, the nation rushed back to its sinful ways under the leadership of Manasseh, Hezekiah's son. He actually rebuilt the centers of idolatry that the father had destroyed. So maybe Hezekiah wasn't being so haughty as I thought. Maybe he was confirming God would still protect them during his reign. That's kind of weird the way that comes out.
Yeah, well, time or age doesn't necessarily make us any better. Consider that the time does nothing but pass away. And, we say time will tell, time will heal, or time will bring out the best in me. But time did nothing of the sort. Time was only come and go. It's only how we use that time that matters. And Hezekiah didn't make good use of the extra time the Lord gave him.
Yeah.
Well, here it says he did. If you look, Hezekiah, one of Judah's most faithful kings, worked hard throughout his reign, to stamp out idol worship and to purify the worship of the true God at the Jerusalem temple. Nevertheless, he knew his kingdom was not pure. Powerful undercurrents of evil invited destruction, and only God's miraculous intervention preserved Judah from its enemies. Here, Hezekiah was grateful that God would preserve peace during his reign, which is just another look at it. He knew he wasn't going to be the purification of that nation. He could destroy the idols, but that undercurrent. And then his son really jumps in and makes a mess of everything.
I will respectfully agree to disagree.
Well, this is what I know from his actions in verse 2, where it shows all of the treasury, all the treasure of his castle and their nation, where he shows everything to the Babylonians. In 6, in 6, Isaiah says, behold, the days are coming when all that is in your house and all that your fathers have laid up in store to this day will be carried to Babylon. Nothing will be left, says the Lord. So I would just say that because of his foolishness, and he didn't learn, he didn't give his full trust in God, even though God promised him, you are going to have these 15 years left. He still, again, like I said, he hedged his bets and put Israel in trouble for the future.
Murdoch Baladan, I don't remember him from the past, a Babylonian prince, was planning a revolt against Assyria. So the reason Hezekiah went in and did this was to show them that they could align with each other and then save his country from that. And that didn't quite go his way. And Isaiah then warned him not to trust Babylon. This was not going to be good. They were going to turn on Judah. But I think God intervened right there, and when Isaiah went and told him, don't trust this guy. This is not going to be good. And then when he kind of told him, this is what's going to happen because you showed him all this wealth. Anyhow, that's the way this interpretation is going. It says his response may seem a bit short-sighted, but he simply was expressing gratitude for the blessing from God that peace would reign during his lifetime and that God's judgment would not be more severe because he'd really done something wrong. He should never have let them see what they had, I guess. But
I think he should have just graciously welcomed them and then left it at that.
Gave him a little bit to eat and told him to go home. But I think what he was thinking was this: they would attack them sooner. I think he had some thoughts there, but I might be wrong.
No,
in the end, it wasn't good for the rest that were left.
Know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, Gloria Brown, fast forward to current times. You think current times have changed?
Nope. No.
Best history book we have is the Bible.
How many times have you heard that what we're doing right now with the infrastructure is due to the fact that we needed to be bipartisan and reach across the aisle one more time? We are so far across the aisle, we are now embedded with the left. And if we don't, that's pretty bold. Wasn't that bold? I'm so sorry.
Hey, that is all I can think of is with infrastructure. We have had infrastructure not only from the nation, but also from our cities and our state, where we paid so much tax money, and that tax money seemingly goes elsewhere because in California, our roads don't get fixed for the most part, and our gas taxes keep going up to take care of it, and we never seem to have enough. But
you never see results. Do you see results? We don't see results here in Nebraska. We don't see that the money has been used. They might go out and have somebody fixing a street for 6 or 7 months. Do you guys see that too? But you never see the big difference?
We see it. We see big difference in Southwest Florida.
Well, you've got a different type of management system, I think.
Well, they got a good governor, that's for sure. Hey,
the governor's all right, but our city managements, I think, could use some help.
I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And we'd love to have you back tomorrow as we continue our walk through the Bible. And just want to thank Fitz and Lana for being here today.
Thank you, Charles.
I was in and out, but thanks for having me, Charles.
That disappearing act by Lana, that was sensational. But I want to thank everyone for being here. God bless. If you've got an opportunity to give somebody a hand, go out and do it. We'll look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. Bye.
God's blessings.